Are you looking for peace of mind at your doorstep? Look no further. With the Blink Video Doorbell, your home's entrance is always within your control. Check out the link in the video description to learn more and get your Blink Video Doorbell on Amazon. Your home is in your hands.
It was the terrifying possibility that haunted Holly Willoughby every day for 9 months. What if Gavin Plum walks free? But yesterday the grotesquely obese former security guard was finally sentenced to life in prison, with a minimum term of 16 years, for plotting to kidnap, rape and murder the presenter, and she will have been utterly relieved to hear the outcome. When the former This Morning star first learned of the terror Gavin Plum had in store for her, she was understandably petrified, as were her nearest and dearest. And the idea of him being found not guilty and allowed to walk the streets again was her worst nightmare, with Holly, 43, fearing that she would never be able to live a normal life again. She can now rest a little easier at night, said a friend of the TV star. While the ramifications of what happened will probably never leave her, the fact that Plum cannot terrorize her, or anyone else for that matter, will be such a huge relief. This has totally changed Holly's life. She couldn't leave the house for a very long time. The sentence means that, in time, she can try to process what has happened and piece her life together, but most importantly, no longer live in total fear because Plum is behind bars for the foreseeable, long enough not to be scared. Very few people have any understanding of just what Holly has been through in the last 9 months. It has been hell. Throughout the trial, the former ITV presenter rigorously avoided any publicity arising from her harrowing experience, and her victim impact statement was not read out to the public yesterday. The judge praised Holly's considerable courage in waiving her automatic right to anonymity so the case can be reported. Mr. Justice Murray also revealed that some details were so horrifying, shocking and graphic, that an informal agreement was reached between the prosecution and the media to avoid reporting on them. Meanwhile, prosecutor Alison Morgan KC said, "The impact has been life-changing for the victim, both in private and personal terms and, indeed, professional. The shock and fear caused has been impossible to convey. Indeed, being informed of the consequences, the intentions, and the detail of the evidence in this case, it is inevitable that has exacerbated the trauma of this victim." Plum, whose weight ballooned to 35 st at one point, spent 99.9% of his free time online, where he used stomach-churning chat groups to talk about his perversions and encourage others to join him in his plot to kidnap Holly. He denied soliciting murder and inciting rape and kidnap, claiming it had all been just online chat. But he was convicted unanimously by a jury of 8 women and 4 men at Chelmsford Crown Court. Plum, 37, who wore a gray sweatshirt, showed no emotion yesterday as he was sentenced to life, but muttered 15 years to kill myself as he was led out of the dock. Delivering the sentence, Mr. Justice Murray said, "The plot to murder Ms. Willoughby was the endpoint of a plan to kidnap and falsely imprison her for the purpose of raping and otherwise sexually abusing her in ways that would have been particularly sadistic, brutal and degrading." Holly quit her job on This Morning days after learning of the plot in October 2023, just before she was due to go on air, and was so terrified she stayed holed up in her home for weeks afterwards. But it wasn't just her own safety she was worried about. As Holly went through the legal process, she also wanted to ensure the safety of other women, an issue she feels very passionate about. In a bid to make sure the Crown Prosecution Service had the best possible chance of getting a conviction, Holly fought hard to ensure Plum's previous convictions were brought before the court. And at the 11th hour, the jury was allowed to hear about Plum's 2 attempts to abduct air stewardesses from trains heading for Stansted Airport and an attempt to kidnap 2 of his 16-year-old colleagues at a Woolworths branch. Just a month before his trial, the cases were deemed admissible. Holly was grateful to the women who were brave enough to speak out, including Emma Ashby, who told the Mail on Sunday how Plum sellotaped her hands together and pulled out a kitchen knife in a warehouse at the shop where they worked 15 years ago. Ms. Ashby said, "His past convictions show he is a dangerous man who doesn't just fantasize.